Joseph Fitsanakis is Professor of the Intelligence and Security Studies Program at Coastal Carolina University. He's in Myrtle Beach. Thank you so much for joining us. We heard about the US and Germany and these spying details when Edward Snowden came out and those revelations were discovered. But why has it taken so long to find out that Denmark had a role?
You know, this is not exactly something that is pursued either by those who have been victims of it or those who have perpetrated it. The reason is it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to recognize that you've done it. It's also uncomfortable to recognize that you have been the victim of it. There is a famous saying among spies that there's no such thing as a friendly foreign spy agency. And so I think today we're seeing the proof of that in the headlines around the world.
How serious is this politically for two European allies or other European allies to find that essentially one has been spying on the other?
Look, there's no such thing as a no-spy agreement between the United States and other members of the sort of Western alliance, including even NATO partners. There's also no agreement of no spying between European countries themselves. So technically speaking, espionage between European powers or between them and the United States is not in violation of some kind of a sacred tenet, so to speak. Yet it's nothing sort of remarkable to basically see these allegations that Denmark helped the United States spy on countries such as Norway and France and Germany and Sweden. The shock value aside, I think that there's a huge practical and symbolic significance that I don't think can be overlooked. Much of it has to do with the timing. Remember that this is happening at a time when President Biden is trying to convince the Europeans essentially that the United States is back in the field of diplomacy and that Washington is a trustworthy ally. More embarrassingly, Biden cannot say that he had nothing to do with it. He was vice president when the bulk of this was happening back in 2014 and 2015.
That's the other issue, isn't it? EU-US relations took a real hit under Donald Trump. Is this going to get in the way of President Biden smoothing that relation over, restoring that relationship?
I think inevitably it will. You know, I think it's quite clear if you look at how basically the United States used one European country to spy on other European countries, if these allegations are indeed accurate, it is clear that Washington does not see the EU as a sort of a unified force in any meaningful sense of the term. And I think the question before us today is whether the EU states themselves do so. They see themselves as a unified force or not. I think there's no question that the Western alliance, such as it is undergoing a major political crisis. And I think stories like this certainly do not help.
It's a very complex picture. Joseph Fitsanakis, thank you so much for taking us through it.